Well, hello, this is Jurgita with Magic Pond Crafts, and today is already October 4th, so I'm rushing to get this video started on my game that's called 3 months to the finish line. And I just uploaded a video of all the plans that I want to do for that specific game. And what I said to kind of run briefly, if you haven't watched the video, you can go back and watch it. But I have dice and I roll number in to see which out of the six beginning ones I wanna stitch then, and depends on the size of a project. I can get either big ones put like 1,000 stitches, so on the small ones about 500 stitches at a time. And I said that this year I'm tweaking a little bit my plans because I'm also including my 4 big monthly projects, and there's gonna be, especially in December, I'm gonna be looking through some other whips from my current whip list if I want a specific areas to be done by the end of the year, so I can start the new year with something more interesting. So to recap, number 1 is gonna have 2 letters to be done, and the prayer school or St. Nicholas is gonna have 2 Santas done for that. So what I started is actually because I was in Needlework Galleria 2022 in St. Charles, Missouri. I brought my cappuccino with me to stitch, and since the 1st of October I happened to be there, so I figured I might as well start stitching. I didn't do like this whole intro video there, of course, so I just kept stitching until I decided, okay, it's not time to stop and switch to something else because I put in enough stitches for that. So I'll show you where I've started in the beginning of this month to stitch on the cappuccino itself, and to show you closer what the design should look like. I started this on an airplane coming back from Europe, so I decided I'm gonna keep it in the kit. Usually I try to replace perforated paper with some fabric, so this way this time I didn't, and it started to like rip and bend this perforated paper. So what I did, I just quickly went and put it on a Q-snap to kind of hold it in, so I also can stitch with 2 threads. And what I've got is, ta-da, this one. So I put in already marked 1688 stitches, a little bit more than my typical, but like I said, I had it brought in to stitch a little bit in Galleria, and the rest of it just kept going because this is a big project, just a little bit under 5,000 stitches, so I wanted each time put in a little bit more. So let's say to have enough like for 3 times to pick it up. Probably harder to tell, but maybe with the background, here it is. So I've done some of the beadwork, just a little bit to check it out. I'm using not Ely invisible thread, but actual threads as was suggested in the pattern, like a DMC threads, and just went around with one color once I sorted out a bit of that, and just continue so far working with 3 threads, full stitch, rest of the stuff in here. And there's gonna be a little heart in the middle, like this clay one right here, so that's gonna be at the very end. So like I said, I did 1688 at least by my calculations, so I marked it down, and now I'm ready to stitch something else. But like I said, I'm gonna be doing a little bit more other whips, not from my current main list in here. So since technically it's already, I believe, the next day in China, one of the shows that I like to watch and the main character's birthday is already here, so I want to stitch on that piece, and I'm gonna pull out because it's not in here. And ta-da, with the magic of pausing, you see it right away. So the pattern was named Magister of a Devil Cult. The live version show is called The Untamed, and Xiaozhan, main actor, playing one of the 2 guys, 31st 31st birthday is on the 5th of October, so I thought I could stitch just a little bit on this because it is a big pattern, and as you can see there is a lot of the back stitching also to be done. So I can't wait to see all those details start popping out, and those ribbons and everything. So what I have right now is here. So just kind of top with the little crane head that I already started back stitching, and I have a thread for that. So the flower buds are not back stitch around yet. I'm gonna do sometime later. I try to work on the pieces that have a lot of back stitching kind of work area, and back stitch in that area if it's everything is filled in, so I wouldn't end up spending 3 days just doing those stitches. So I'm not sure where I'm gonna pick her up, in the darker mountain here, or continue on the big bird because there's going to be a lot of that, we'll see. But I wanted to stitch at least a little bit, so I would show the progress at the important dates of the show and actors lives. So this is what you see now, and after a blink of your eyes you're gonna see some result. Well, a few days already passed and I didn't do much stitching, just 703 stitches. So can you tell at all in this piece? So if you can't tell a difference, probably majority would be like in here, and started filling up this wing, and there's going to be way more of that where it goes, but started kind of clouds. I wanted to reach the dark spots in here so I could then fill in with the dark colors and then do the back stitching. But since I stitched enough, I think 2 days at least in a time, I'm putting this away, and most likely till the next year. So what next I was planning to do is pull up my one of the major ones, and it's my spoiled child, and I have to do minimum 3700 plus stitches. So just gonna be filling in here. It's gonna be dark gloomy colors like that, and some way darker. So as you see, I had a little bit moved in to finish off some threads before, so I'm gonna do that. And figured out I might as well toss the dice to see what I can stitch on, if you know, something in the hand or something like that, not sitting in this spot with the big frame. So let's go and check out my first dice roll, shall we? So let's see, the only things I stitched so far is a cappuccino, which is this one. I did not roll it because I already started at the Galleria, and I stitched a Magister, so that's not in my list. And here is the dice. So let's shake it up and see what number. Ooh, number 6. I guess the cappuccino is gonna be doing work again, and I'm sure you remember what it looks like. I'm just gonna be continuing filling in parts, probably without beads most likely, and let me pull it out for you. So here it is, just in case I forgot. So just filling in probably spots on the top, trying to get everything besides beads, and slowly moving down, and like a handle space is still up there. I don't know if it's gonna be beads or not, but I'm gonna be stitching more of this. And like I said, I want to do about the second third total of this, so we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna be stitching some of that maybe in between while I'm working on my spoiled child, which is where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna probably mark a little bit more on here, and that's how I go. And by the way, the marking pens are not the regular pencils or pens. It's for a fabric specifically, and this one is disappearing with the heat, not like a cold water or air. So we'll see how much I can do in here and the cappuccino, and I guess I'll see you in a second with some results. Well, it's already 13, so I wanted to show you what I've done in all those days. So it was a little bit slower stitching, and I think it's gonna slow it down a little bit more because I have to prepare for first weekend of November craft show, and I haven't done much for that. So that's gonna impact how much I can stitch, but I want to show you how much I've done in my cappuccino. So I think I did just over 1600 stitches, and as you can see, all of the stitching is finished, main stitches, and what's left is only beading. So I already started beading the words cappuccino, and it's almost done, and the rest of it that you see, all those empty spots, it's gonna be filled in with the beads like here. So I think I'm about what, like maybe like 75% done approximately. I couldn't tell for sure until I do that. So what I've done is about 1600 plus stitches, including the beads, and half of the beads I'm actually doing with the 2 stitches going this way, and wrapping the second stitch around the bead to keep it more steadier so it doesn't wobble at all. And some beads I put in with the half stitch as instructions recommend. So that what I've done with cappuccino, and let's go next to see with my spoiled child. And ta-da! Guess what? I did a partial face of the lady, and so far I'm very happy. Well, my shade is there. I'm very happy how it turned out. I mean, like you can see the eyes all filled in here, and second eye is gonna be there. So she's looking at the boy at an angle here, and her hair is peeking out from her head cover, and I still need to check what, maybe I've done something wrong with those stitches. I need to go back and look, but this is what I am right now. And if I want to finish equally in the next 2 months, it's about 2500 stitches left on each time, so that should take some pressure off me. Of course, this part took a little longer than I was hoping for, but I wanted to finish the same amount that I've been trying to do every month minimum, and I accomplished that, over 3700 stitches. So this is what it looks like right now. And as you remember from my list, let me pull it out. So that's pretty much what it looks like right now. I need to fill in how much I did in the spoiled child before. But from my list, if you remember, I have to do 4 of these each month. So some could be less, some more, but this one I think I'm gonna pick next, because if you remember, I have to I want to do like a season within a season. So let me show you to you what I mean. And here it is. So the summer season I did by the end of the summer, and this is a full season dress, and you see it's already September's part done. So another third needs to be done in October, and the last third is going to be done in November, so I have to get on with it. So far I haven't done any of the beading. Of course, that's going to be at the very end of the season, so in November. But I already started with some variegated silk colors in here, so that's also going to continue, and a lot of background of this color stitching left to do, so that should go much faster. So I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna switch in between smaller amount of thread colors into a bigger amount, like the background, so it wouldn't get too boring. But I think it should make progress a little bit faster, and that's what I'm gonna be working on. And I guess I'll pull my dies after I've done with this to see what next out of those 6 whips that I want to finish before end of the year, which one I'm going to be working on. So anyway, this is what I'm starting now, and wish me luck, and I'll see you in a second. And today is already 18, so I wanted to show you how much I've done in the past 7 days. Actually, it took me way longer than I was hoping for, but I had to prep for a yard sale, and now I think it's gonna slow down even more because I have to get some stuff made for the craft show that's coming up in a few weeks. So I need to get cracking on that. So of course my stitching is gonna be suffering. but I made my another second third of the fall dress. So as you can see, it really filled in all the background main color, and the dress itself got some color besides like a whitish one. So that's what I've been doing. I did not do the silk threads that were changing and over dyed. Just try to pick some colors and go with the dress, and then decided to start filling in the background. So I did just over 3,000 stitches, and that would make with the last time, that would make a good 2/3. Just a little bit less than that is left for the end, but of course it's going to be smaller amounts, more changing colors, and of course the back stitching and beading, so that's going to take a bit longer. But I'm ready to set this aside until November, which is in a couple of weeks, and let's go roll my dice. So again, here are my, if you remember, my top 6 contenders for the dice roll. And I'm curious which number is gonna pop out, because so far I stitched only on a cappuccino. And here's my handy dandy dice in here. And let's roll it, and ooh, where's the fall? Number 5. So number 5, ooh, something totally new. I've never stitched her before. And let me pull it out and show you what I mean by that. And here's the pattern. I got it from last year's, few years back, Needlework Galleria when I went in there from her. So it's by Nikki's Creation Primitives, and it's fairly primitive, little witchy. I think it's appropriate right before Halloween start, and the sheep. So she had padded and the fabric done. I had a bigger chunk of the fabric there, and decided to trim it what size it needed, so I have a little bit extra left. And these were the colors that is going to be needed. So again, kind of more full darker colors in for that design. And let's start stitching. We'll see how it goes. Stitch count is about 100 by 88, so that's not too bad, and we'll see how it works. And I'm thinking maybe minimum 500 on this small thing. Maybe if I'm feeling good, and it's stitching fast, I'll do even a whole 1,000. So we'll see which one, because I still have 2 big ones to stitch in the next few weeks, and that would be these 2. So that's gonna take a while too, but we'll see. So first is Halloween Sheep by Nikki's Creations Primitives. So 2 days worked, and this is what I got. I actually decided to try over 1 versus over 2, and this is about the 30 count fabric, close to that one, since it's been dyed. And you can tell a difference, because originally as a live one color, it's way more like brownish yellowish kind of colors, and in the picture it's like a gray color. And that's why I think a picture might have been photoshopped, because I bought this fabric specifically from her for this pattern. And I decided to stitch over 1, and I'm doing a full cross. I could have done a half cross, but I decided to do as a full cross. So it's very tiny crosses. And actually the white color was supposed to be what, like a 739, but it was not whitish color, but was more closer to like this light yellow cream color. And I thought the sheep would not pop out as much on the picture, like in here, even though it's looking like a gray background with the whitish, those sheep are really kind of disappearing in the fabric. So I just went with was that the cream color? No, it was ecru color, so I just replaced it with the ecru color. I think it as a sheep, you know, you want a white covering on the bodies, and I think it turned out well. I did not change anything else color wise, although some of the like a lighter colors it kind of was disappearing, and you have to look really up close to see some of those green sticks on the top of those pumpkins in here. But I think that's about good halfway done. In there, of course, the witch is gonna have more stitching, and this border is gonna have some more stitching, but it was flying fairly fast. I could do a lot of stitches just picking one color and going. Of course, those little ones in the different colors, I had to like start and cut kind of thing. And especially when you stitch over one, you can't make a knot or like do the loop start. So just pick something and just went and then filled in, and you can see kind of like the eyes of some of the pumpkins already sticking out in there. So this is what I got. I have about 1700 plus stitches, although I took a picture of this with the pattern keeper. It was showing like a good 8,000 stitches because it was counting all the spaces in between the empty ones, and I think maybe that's a little bit too much, so maybe total it would be about 4,000. We'll see once I'm done fully stitching, then I'll be able to tell you full amount of stitches involved in this pattern. But it was much easier to do with the pattern keeper, just was marking off, although I think it would be fairly easy to do just off the paper, but I just didn't want to mark it in there. So that's what I decided to stop at. And I'm not gonna roll dice because it's already 20th today, and I need to work on one of the two more my monthly pieces. And I've decided to pick up My Beloved by Adele Sessler or Aileen and Rowan. And this is where I'm gonna start. Like I said, I'd like to finish by the end of the year this row. So there's October, November, December in here, but it looks a lot, and since it's not that many colors, it should go fairly quicker, not like a typical full coverage pieces, because like I said, it's not too many color changes. We'll see how it goes. Of course, the lady's hair is popping in here, and then more of his hair is gonna be. So I don't know how many stitches I'm gonna make this round, but at least 1/3 of this area I want to finish. So this is where I'm gonna start, and I guess I'll see you with more stitches put in. And here we are, not even 2 full days later, and what the program was showing that I did just a few stitches under 2,700 in here. And when I added what's left total for the next 2 months, if I go like a straight to this line, and that would make 3,699 stitches. So one stitch less than the full nice amount, and I stitched a couple stitches less than 700. So that was interesting. Kind of coincidence with the numbers. And actually yesterday it was a very long stitchy day. I stayed up kind of late, and I did just tiny bit over 2,000 stitches in this area. Of course, there's was quite a bit of black in here, but I also had singles in here too to kind of throw in and stuff, so it's not like it was just a simple. Plus I had to do the blends, so I was pulling out blends. Maybe I should show you how I do my threads. So here it is where I keep all the threads for this piece. Like I said, it's not a lot of different symbols, 9 pure and 12 blends. So I have a pure colors in here and blends in there. So what I've decided to do before, in some whips I would pull out the 2 different colors and put in the blend area, so one of each. But then if colors are very similar to each other, then I could mistakenly pull out 2 of the same color. So what I've decided from now on to keep doing it, just have all the colors as a pure, singles. And then if I need to do a blend, I would pull out one from, like, let's say this and that, put it together, and then since it's CXC threads, as you know, they're a little bit more fluffier, so it's not a good idea to stitch full meter length. So what I do when I mix them together, I cut in half. So one half I already put in, and the other half, if I need to put the needle back in, it's like stuck like this. So that's you cannot mix in accidentally of the same color instead of the blends. But that's how I'm doing. And like I put couple of the 6 thread what do you call that, couple of those things on here, and once I'm getting practically all gone, because I'm also using that as a pure colors too, not just for blends, then I go into my main thread supply area, and I pull out a couple more of that color and put it in, and it's all pre-cut for me, so I don't have to do the cutting. But anyway, this is what I was getting, and it's working easier for me, especially not to mix up blends as like just a regular. So you can see the girl already has some kind of hair thingy happening, like a band and stuff, and you can kind of see faint lines from the pen in here, which is gonna disappear when it's all done. But I finished that area, and I'm ready to go do something else, and that would be as you know, my cube. So let's go and roll the cube or dice. So here is the dice, and let's see which number is gonna pop out. And I have no idea which one I want to stitch. Maybe this one or that one, since I want to finish a little bit small things. And since I already done witch or Halloween sheep, that might be put away for a little bit. So let's roll it. Number 6. Well, I guess a cappuccino is gonna be worked on again, and like I said previously, I don't have a lot left. Well, main stitching is done, only left beading. Let me pull it out for you to show it. And here what I have so far. So all like you see, I already started my beading on the words, and I stopped last time. So all the empty spots to fill in is what is gonna be filled in with the beads. And I've put some of the beads in this sorter. They're not all, I just kind of wrote down little numbers of them, and this little plastic, it holds it up for me so it doesn't all fall out, so I can just open partial and just roll the beads in that area. So this is what I'm gonna be doing. I don't know if I'm gonna do a lot this time, because it seems like this one is going fast, but we'll see if the inspiration strikes. And I don't want to set it aside, so I'll do then 1000. If not, then maybe 500, but that probably will be just for one day perhaps, but we'll see. So let's work on a cappuccino then, shall we? And I think that I'm gonna stop at this point. So you probably should be able to tell a little bit more where I've done and how much it's left. So the whole thing area and the carpet here is or rug or something like this is fully done and stitched. The only things left to stitch is like where are the coffee beans are in this and this area, and a little bit like you see the some of the edges are not even, and some in here. So that's all that's left. And it was taking me like forever to do a mountain here. And even though the instructions tell you to do only with a half stitch, but I was doing like a typical half stitch, and then one like a fully going over, which I go the same way, but I split the threads like in half and wrap it around the bead, so the bead would not change the direction. They all went always in the same way to lay a little bit better. So I think one more time, and and all the beading and will be done, and then I can attach in this part where there's going to be that red, not red, but little blue little heart that's was included in the kit. So I decided to put the cappuccino down. You can't tell the bead shininess, but you can tell that it's like 3D. So then what I've decided to grab is this, which my fourth monthly piece. So this is what it looks like right now, and you can see the width of the fabric. So like always, I work from a left top corner and just go down. So right now I'm going sort of down and to the end of this side, and you see that one giant peony is in here and then some hiding. So again, I don't have a specific number of minimum for this, but so far it's about almost 22,000 stitches still left, and that includes all the back stitching, and it's gonna be sort of like a French knots in here. And there's you can tell by the picture there's some areas with like a half stitch done in a different amounts of threads, and that's what makes dimensions pop out more like a 3D look. So my goal is to finish next year, and this area is about where the half point is, the height wise. So I still have quite a bit to go, and since I need to finish next year, I might as well kick some of those stitches off the list and end up with less than 2,000 a month for next year to do. So that would be great. So we'll see how much I can do this time. I'm just gonna slowly fill in parts as I go, and you see I don't leave any hanging threads in there. I try to finish it all off. That's why there's some areas like empty, because then I'll come back with that color and continue in. So I'm gonna spend a little bit time on this piece, and I'll meet you again with some progress for this. Well, hi, today is 27th, already morning, still early morning. I sent the kids to school, and I've been working for my craft show. So I'm making dominoes. That's gonna be right now a beach scene in here, and that's like inspirational picture I have in there. So those are up to 12 numbers, and yeah, so it involves all kinds of things. So while doing this and waiting for parts of it to dry, because it has to go in the layers, the epoxy, I've been stitching. So let's go see what I've done. And here are my flowers. So I think you should be able to see good change in there, filled up. And when I looked on my numbers after I've done stitching late last night, it was 4,443 stitches total done, and that includes like those half stitches that considered as a half. So twice as many you have to do for a full amount of stitches. And I've been just slowly filling in the spots, like I said, and been going in. I love how it looks so far. I have not done this round at least any back stitching so in here, so you can see peony kind of hiding behind some of those leaves, so it's going to be standing out even more once I've done the back stitching in here. So I have not reached fully the edge yet. I'm almost there, so it would be like probably around this area. So this still needs to be filled in, and of course to do back stitching and slowly moving down. But I'm very happy how it turned out. Right now I have 48.86% done, so I have not reached a half point fully. Maybe in November I'll be able to do that. We'll see. That would be so cool to go past the 50% finish part. So I'm gonna set this aside because it took me a little bit longer than I was planning to, but I looked at my calendar and I figured I might as well put more stitching in here. So right now on this piece I have left over 17,300 stitches. That includes all the back stitching and the French knots and etc. So I think right now it would be perfect time to roll a dice. So let's go. So here is again my list of numbered pieces that I want to stitch on, and I'm curious what's gonna fall this time, because so far I've stitched several times on cappuccino and Halloween sheep. So those four have not been touched yet, and here's my dice. So I'm just gonna shake it, shake it, shake it, and dump it. I guess cappuccino just wants to be finished this month, so I might just do that. And let me pull it out again to show you, at least remind myself where I'm gonna start it this time. And here's the famous piece that apparently really wants to be done in October. So let's see, what I have left is to do the edges around here and fill in where the coffee beans are, and edges on that side, and that will be done, and then I can put my big heart in there. So yeah, let's get started beading, because that's the only thing left. I did not see any back stitching to be done, so just the beading left. And you can't tell the sparkles right now that the bead's showing, but it looks very cool. So I guess I'll be working on that next. And the same evening, and my cappuccino is done. Yay! Very first finish of those 3 months of the game. So as you see, it was all going like around like a border. But what's interesting that there was two marks that for example 6 and 9 stitches on those two sides were done with one color thread, and the rest of it, same bead, was done with the lighter color thread. So I don't know if you can even tell the difference. I mean, it's the same bead, is just using different thread colors. So I think it could have been fine using just that one of those colors, but I did as it was suggested, and I put in this big heart in there, and I did quite few times poke through. There was only one X opened as a space, if you remember, so just went like around there like 3 times. So by my calculations, at least what Pattern Keeper was saying, that all of those parts that was filled in total, I got 4,757 tiny windows, and that includes one X kind of would be for the big button. By the way, for the button, I really had to, you know how it is, those buttons like from this, you have to peel off because it was glued on the paper, and then that glue and the paper was stuck quite a bit on that, and I was trying to kind of scrape it off with the scissors, try to even out and wet the paper there, and just scrape, scrape, scrape. But it's all done. Very exciting. So it's under 5,000 stitches, and that was my biggest piece for this game, if I know correctly. So yeah, can you tell the difference in the colors? I don't, but those were tiny, those petite beads, and they're just so tiny, but it really pops the whole thing up. So my first finish is done, and I crossed that one out. So number 6 is done, and I figured because it was such a big piece and it was done in 1 month, and the rest of them are much smaller, like by half practically, and this is already about half stitch, I decided to pull something else. Oh, by the way, how much is left? So this is how many beads are still have left over from cappuccino. So I'm gonna just put them in my bead collection and keep it, because Mill Hill is always good, and I had enough thread. So I had it just on the regular, like a card from a magazine, and you see every color, it was plenty left. No, a little bit less of this, but it's still enough. So these are DMC colors, so that's no problem. And of course the two needles, I can use it for something else. So anyway, I figured I was looking through my list of things to accomplish this year, and there's one web that I'm gonna start stitching today, and I'll show you and explain why. And it's this, my girl Ghost. Since she's so humongous, I mean, it's gonna be 406,000 stitches, and I'm doing that in half stitches on the first time on the 25 count. This is Luca S fabric that's like a pre-gridded. You see those slight yellow lines, so it's pre-gridded, and the line goes not like over two kind of threads, so it takes a bit to get used to it. But I figured if I do, what was my count, 3,416, those half stitches in each of the left months, so October, November, and December, I can finish my first row. So my first row would end about like maybe here. So this area, it looks so tiny compared, but that would be kind of cool also to finish off, because like I said, it's so big, and I started 1st of January last year, so in 2 years would be, and I finished only one row, so that's not a lot, right? But it's half stitches, and in the beginning I was very slow working on this piece, but I want to kind of continue. And well, since the background, it was already stitched, and what you see is her like a little piece of bow in here, so that's going to be something more fun to stitch. And this is, I think, what I'm gonna work, and I'm gonna finish this month's minimum at least. And then only if I still have time left, I'll roll a dice. If not, then I'll finish month with this. I think that would be number 8 whip in total. And since I have a finish, that's great. Yeah, so this is what it looks like on a 25 count up close and a half stitches with DMC on this Lucas fabric. So this is what I'm gonna start working right now, because I don't know, we kind of missed working on big projects, I guess. And today is 31st of October, so happy sewing to all those that celebrate pagan holiday, or happy Halloween, as known more to nowadays. So I decided to last night to stop this web. So if you can compare, you can kind of tell the hair shading in here stopped and the next area started. So the next round is probably going to be a ribbon part in this area. So I did a little bit more, and actually I did not want to stop. You can kind of see the light hitting on a hair in that part, and there's still a bit to go, so I'm sure in the next couple months I can finish this row. And I calculated that this kind of row, if you go by 5 little 10 by 10 squares, it would make 35,000 stitches, or almost 3,000 stitches a month I would have to do if I want to do one row a year. So this time I decided to stop, and like I said, today is the last day of October, so I wanted to grab something else, and let me show you what. So first of all, I wanna stitch at least a little bit more on my Magister of Devil Cult, or Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation as a box, or Untamed as a show drama. And today is Wayward Sands. This character's like a birthday supposed to be, so I thought that's again reason to stitch a little bit at least on this piece. And this is not a small piece either. So what you see is what I've done up to this point, like the bird is going here and a little bit of the wing in there. So I don't know where I'm gonna grab it, but I want to do just at least a little bit. You see there's lots of that wing and the chest area in there. So I don't know if I'm gonna go like around the edges here and finish up the sky or what, but I'm gonna stitch a little bit on that. And also I'm gonna roll the dice. I wanna do a little bit to see in my game what I can do. So let's roll the dice. So here we have again the list, and since number 6 is finished cappuccino, I might take Northwood needle a little piece to do if it rolls number 6 again. All 4 are done for this month, so it's gonna be next month. So here's the dice, and let's roll, roll, roll. And number 5, I guess this one is also trying to be finished, and it's a Halloween sheep. I worked on that this month. Let me pull her out again. And here it is. So as you see, right side, it's all done in here, all those sheeps. Still left the border top, bottom, and the big witch to stitch in here. So I'm gonna start on this. I don't know how much I'll be doing it, but I'll just be working on this, and we'll see how many stitches I can put in this piece. So I'll see you in a few seconds. So today is already November 1st, and I wanted to wrap up the October month stitching. So you probably could tell a little bit I've stitched yesterday on this Magister, and like a neck is a little bit filled in, and was going more in here and filling out in there. So that's added another like 700 stitches for this one, because I had some chores to do in some of the games, stitchy games on Facebook. And I've done just over 100 stitches on this one, Halloween sheep. So just went on the border here. There's going to be another line on the border that continues this way. But since they're so small over one, I have to stitch each stitch right away, otherwise it might go like under the thread of the fabric. So I didn't want to do that, and that's why I'm doing like full X, so I could catch a slip right away if it slips underneath the fabric. So that's what I did yesterday. And this one was for the game, and this one of course was not. And actually I started this on right on the midnight of last year's October 31st and November 1st. So that was 1 year anniversary for this piece. So that's cool. And if I calculated correctly, on the month of October I did about 5,000 roughly stitches less than in September, but that's okay. I've started this Halloween sheep. That was a new start, and did not finish, but I finished cappuccino, which is a big thing because I did lots of stitches in October. Apparently it really wanted to be finished. So in total I worked on 8 pieces. Like I said, one new, I got one finish, then 4 main pieces that I do every month, so 4 monthly. And I'm considering maybe even including next year my girl goes too, because like I said, one row of 5 blocks is like 35,000 stitches, so that's a lot. Even if I stitch half stitch continental, it still takes a long time to stitch all those. So I might put that one into, if not every month, then at least every 2 months. So I don't know how it's gonna be in November, because again I'm gonna be working on the 4 main ones, and and something like to roll a dice. So we'll see what parts of what numbers of the dice is gonna fall in November, because so far in October it was only two whips that rolled two numbers, and Cappuccino kept wanting to be worked on, and Halloween sheep, but like I said yesterday, I didn't have a lot of time. So this weekend is also a craft show that I need to finish getting ready and making things. So that cuts down on my stitching time a lot. Let's see what else in October. So yesterday was trick-or-treating. Plus my youngest kid already is a teen, so I don't have any more youngsters in the house. So that's kind of sad. And she went and trick-or-treated without me, with just friends. That was kind of, I was sad to see go. And the weather at least was nice. So usually we get the trick-or-treating weather very rainy and cold, and so we have to drive with the car between the houses, and kids would jump in and out of the car, and I would have a heat blasting in there in the car. But this time I did not need to do that, so that was kind of cool. So anyway, I don't know what November is gonna bring, but like I said, I've been slowly going through my list of this year's plans and seeing those plans being done. If I need to, I'll do in November and December. So I hope you liked my sort of like a vlogging. I know I don't share a lot of like a live my regular live pictures or videos or anything like that, but it's not much going on, just everyday kind of thing. Also, by the way, my middle kid just passed, got a full driver's license, not a permit. So yeah, he can drive now by himself too, without me. Soon my youngest won't need me too. Time flies, but we'll get to that point eventually sometime. But until then, I'll be stitching. I'll be trying to record some of my progress, and I hope I'll see you in the next month. Thank you everyone that watches me, that subscribes, and puts the comments or putting thumbs up. That really helps for others to find my videos, and I hope you enjoy them. And if you have a questions or just want to say hi, write down in the comments below. I've been trying to steadily comment on your comments, and if I'm a little bit too busy, then I'll catch up on the group of them at the same time. But I really appreciate you guys watching those videos of mine, because I know there's lots of choices nowadays to watch on YouTube. And I hope you're all well, staying warm if it's cold where you live. And until the next video, I guess. Bye.